Wednesday night, Manchester United take on Burton Albion in the League Cup. And for many people, it's not really a game to get excited about. The League Cup, most people put it as the Manchester United's fourth priority going into any season. And if we win it, people aren't really too fussed and overexcited about winning it. But if we get knocked out, no one really seems to give a shit too much. Now, I personally, over the years, have liked the League Cup because of the fact that you can give a lot of, well, a decent amount of young players the opportunity that they don't seem to get, and certainly these days aren't getting enough of in the Premier League games and in Champions League games and in games that are of any importance. So giving players a chance in games that are against slightly lesser opposition, with Burton Albion, who are near the foot, well, were nearer the foot of the table. They did win against Fulham at the weekend, so they should be on a bit of a high after getting hammered against Leeds the previous week 5-0. So they should be a bit on a high, but this is against a team from a lower division. So Manchester United have got the opportunity here for Jose Mourinho to rotate his squad and potentially use a few youth players, academy players that have come from the Manchester United ranks. Now, he has used a few this past season. We've seen more than most people would have expected given their debut. Louis van Gaal gave so many players their debut in this competition against Milton Keynes, and unfortunately it was a horror show that evening, getting hammered 4-0. Now, I think you've got to get a mixed balance in this team between youth and experienced heads. Now, I wouldn't expect Jose Mourinho to put too many youngsters out in this game. I would expect a lot of wise old heads to be in and amongst this team to guide the one or two youngsters if played through the game, which I think is the best way to go. You don't want to do what Louis... I mean, I'm not knocking Louis van Gaal. He gave so many youngsters a chance, and that was so great for a lot of them youngsters. But to play 6, 7, 8 youngsters in a game of this magnitude is quite difficult for them. Now, we did do it to a certain extent against Crystal Palace on the last day of last season. Crystal Palace didn't have a lot to play for. They were just playing for pride, and some of their Manchester United players really put in a shift, and they could be really proud of themselves. Hopefully that's given Jose Mourinho a lot more confidence to use youngsters, and we've seen the likes of 2-1 Zebi, Joel Pereira, Angel Gomez, Demi Mitchell, Josh Harrop, a lot of these names given the opportunity last season. Okay, Harrop's now moved on, but even Scott McTominay's played as well, so hopefully Jose Mourinho is going to use more this coming season. So far, he's done more than I expected with the youth. I didn't expect the likes of Angel Gomez, even though it was a dead rubber, to get a chance so late in the season when he'd only just come back from injury. So far so good, but he's got to continue this work and play some of these youngsters because some of them are really talented, Angel Gomez being one of them, and he's out of contract at the end of this season and hasn't signed his pro contract yet. So that is a bit worrying if he doesn't get any game time this season. Now, what would I go for and what sort of squad do I think Jose Mourinho is going to go for in this cup tie against Burton Albion? Now, I think he's going to go for a number of experienced players in the team, along with maybe 1 or 2 youth products in the team. Now, because I can't see him putting... I would expect a few experienced players as well on the substitutes bench, because he is not going to want to go out of this. He did say at the end of the cup final last year, when we won this cup, that he wanted to come back and win the record fifth, because his 4th is joint at the moment, and he wants to be the outright number of titles for the League Cup holder. So he's going to want to go out and win this competition again at some point, and he might not get too many more chances if this is his last club in England and however many years he stays at Manchester United. Now, I would expect Sergio Romero to be in goal. I wouldn't expect Joel Pereira to be in goal. Now, I would probably expect Joel Pereira to be the backup goalkeeper on the substitutes bench. Not really to any point in putting David De Gea on the bench. Now, the back four could change from... But the news is tonight that Luke Shaw isn't featuring for the under-23s, which I've just seen the squad announced. He's not in the squad, so that seems positive that Luke Shaw will feature in this game for Manchester United, so he should feature at left back. Now, I would expect Lindelof and Smalling to feature in the centre of defence. Now, the right back position is the one that I'm not too sure on. Could we see Ashley Young play there? But he's played the last couple of games. I would personally think that Jose Mourinho will probably go for Darmian at right back. Now, further forward is where it gets even more complex. We don't have a fucking clue who Jose Mourinho is going to go for. The number 1 player I think that he definitely pick in midfield is Michael Carrick. he hasn't played at all this season, so I would expect Michael Carrick to play. Now, what system he goes for, I really do not know. I would probably expect Ander Herrera to partner Michael Carrick in midfield with possibly Scott McTominay in further forward. Now, I would love to see Angel Gomez given a run out in this game, but I think he's probably, if features in this game, would feature from the substitutes bench. I've still got my doubts whether he will feature at all. I know some people are going mad because he hasn't featured in the squad for tonight's game, under 23 game against Chelsea, but he hasn't featured at all so far for the under 23s, so that's no surprise there to me. And he did play at the weekend, so if he is going to feature, I would presume it would be from the bench. Personally, I'll be a bit shocked if he does start the game, but you never know. And I would also expect probably Tuanzebe to be along the substitutes as well, if he is fit. Now, he hasn't featured for the under 23s in the squad tonight, so there was rumours that he was injured, so I don't know. If he is fit, then he could slot into that right back position in place of Darmian, but I would probably expect, if he is in the squad, to be on the bench as well, given that I haven't seen his name in the team sheet recently for the under 23s, which the rumours probably are correct that he has had some sort of injury, which I'm not too sure if he will feature in this game at all. If he's injured, obviously he won't even be in the squad. Now, as I say, with Angel Gomez, I don't think he will play from the start, even if he features at all. But he hasn't played for the under 23s at all yet. So, but apparently Jose Mourinho does really rate Angel Gomez. He's a massive fan of him, so which is great news to hear. And maybe possibly he could skip the under 23s, because so far they've been doing not so good again this season. So, but we will have to wait and see. Now, as I say, Scott McTominay, I'd expect him to be in there. Then it is whatever he goes for. Now, Anthony Martial will probably start as the striker. Whether he plays Rashford out wide and God knows who else out wide, we will have to wait and see. But I'm not too sure on the other wide position. Will Mata maybe keep his place out wide? Could Angel Gomez play in the team and put someone else out wide? It is that forward line. I'm not too sure on what he's going to go for. It is a real gamble what you would say who would be in the team, because he could pick a completely different style. I mean, he could pick almost a full strength team. We have seen that in the past that he has. I mean, I don't really see the point in picking a full strength team in this game. Last season he really needed to get a couple of trophies under his belt as Manchester United manager to take the pressure off him, and he delivered that. And so now if he goes on and wins a Premier League title this season, he can say, look, I've won 3 titles, 3 competitions already as Manchester United manager. So I'm not too sure he's going to take. He probably shouldn't take this nowhere near as seriously as he took it last season. But we could see Rashford out on one side. We could see. I highly doubt that Mkhitaryan will start this game. So, but you obviously you never know with Jose Mourinho. I would expect Romelu Lukaku though to be on the substitutes bench at best for this game. I don't really understand why he needs to start the game with a lot of games coming thick and fast in the Premier League. So I wouldn't expect too many of these young upcoming talents to actually get a start in this game. I mean, Andreas Pereira would have probably been perfect to have played in this type of game for Manchester United, but unfortunately Manchester United ended up loaning him out. He wanted to go out on loan to get some more game time, and did get a nice assist at the weekend, but he would have been perfect for this type of game. But it will give the likes of Michael Carrick and Ander Herrera game time, but they haven't got too much this season. I mean, we could even see one Mata put out wide, because he's been in and out of the team this season. One Mata could go out wide, Rashford could go out on the other hand side with Martial forward, and with Scott McTominay maybe sort of in just behind the Carrick and Herrera. But we will have to wait and see. I mean, I don't even know what formation he's going to go for. We will just have to wait and see. But giving minutes to Michael Carrick, to obviously Luke Shaw, that is absolutely pivotal, because he hasn't really got much. He's got a few games now in the under 23s, Luke Shaw, but they've been losing. They haven't been playing too well. Ashley Young also did get some game time in them, and they were still losing. And Ashley Young's actually looked decent when he's come back into the Manchester United team, which I've been a bit surprised with. So hopefully playing with better players in a more confident team, winning team, will help Luke Shaw, and hopefully he can get 60 to 70 minutes under his belt in this game. So hopefully, I'm excited for the game because Manchester United should be odds-on favourite to claim the victory, although we did have a banana skin against these last time we played them when they were a non-league side and drew 0-0. We did rest too many players that day and had to bring on the likes of Ronaldo and Wayne Rooney and couldn't get over the line and couldn't find the breakthrough and had to take it back to their place. So, and obviously with this game it goes to extra time, so we can't afford to take them too lightly, but I would hope that the likes of Lukaku maybe just in reserve, just in case Manchester United slip up, because this is one of the only opportunities that the likes of Scott McTominay and players like that will get to get game time at the moment, because we haven't got any other real dead rubber games. I mean, at the moment the Champions League is still hotting up. It's still the group stage. We've got to win the next 3 games, and then potentially we'll be qualified as winners of the group if we win them, and then we'll have a couple of dead rubbers in the Champions League where we maybe can rotate. But the FA Cup doesn't start till January, and so we want to stay in this competition if we can, in order to give the likes of Scott McTominay some game time, and maybe potentially some other players in the future if they impress in the under-23s. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the game. I'm going to go for Manchester United winning this game. I don't think it's going to be an absolute rollover, because I think there will be a rotated side and it might disrupt us a little bit. But I think Manchester United will get over the line in this game. Obviously, Burton and Albion are looking to stay up in the Championship. I'm going to go for Manchester United winning the game 2-0. Let me know your thoughts. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're back again. We should be back this week with a watch along for the game. So stay tuned for that, and I'll talk to you all again soon. See ya.